welcome to day 3 of the Great Norfolk Broads Adventure 5. And what a day it is today. Yeah, anyway. Right, good morning from Tiberius and myself. I really like him. He is going to be my new first mate on my adventures, by the way. Everywhere I go, I'm going to be bringing little Tiberius with me. He's just so cute. And I know other people have mascots and all that, you know, but I don't know. I just saw him in this wee shop just down by the Lion yesterday. By the way, I don't know exactly what I was talking about yesterday when I came back both times to the boat, but I'm pretty sure I talked a load of rubbish but didn't say anything very significant that I was wanting to say. So I'm going to take a couple of minutes out just now just to talk about the Lion, because I don't think I really sort of talked about that properly last night. So yes, it's basically just straight down the stave, and at the bottom there's a wee sort of wooden gate. You go out the gate, you turn left, and it's just along the road there. You know, you honestly can't miss it, and it's only about like a 5-minute walk really to get there. But just on the opposite side of the line, there's this little wee sort of village shop called Ramblers, and it's actually really nice, and quite reasonably priced actually, I thought. But it's all I mean it's all the sort of local sort of homemade stuff that you usually find, and craft stuff and paintings and what have you. But I really liked it. I thought it was a wonderful wee place, and I had a lovely wee chat with the lady, the owner. I didn't manage to get a name though, unfortunately. She was talking about the history of the not so much the Broads, but the history of the area around the Broads and some of the ghost stories and all that, you know. So yeah, that was lovely. And after that, I then went into the Lion, and I've got to say, I never went to the Lion pre-ownership of the current ownership, if you like. So I don't know what it was like, but apparently it was actually quite bad, you know, especially under the previous ownerships. It's still in refurbishment sort of phase, you know. It's not all sort of perfect, you know, they're still doing wee bits and pieces, but they're getting to the point now where, well, obviously they're open to the public, you know, in the service. We've got a huge array of beers, I mean a huge array of beers on the front of the bar, beers on the back of the bar. They've got some ciders, you know, and some of the ciders, oh man, I mean, obviously I was drinking beer last night, so I didn't want to like pints of cider, but oh, was it Rachael, I think the person I was talking to, she gave me these samples of some of the ciders to try, there was a sweet mango cider which was like juice, you know, and then there was a Whiskey Cask Cider which just like, oh, it was so smooth, and oh, it was really beautiful. And they've got they've also got a vast array of gins as well. So good, you know. Every table has its own gin menu on it. So you know, if you're into your gins, you know, I mean, great place. And the food was just the food was just wonderful. I mean, it really was. I just had basically a sort of a roast pork dinner, being a Sunday, you know, and I'm more of a pork than a beef person. But yeah, I mean, pork, the roast tatties, the Yorkshire puddings, you know, it was just all fantastic, you know. And I did find out that the owners of the Lion are also the owners of the White Horse and Nettie's Head, so that would explain how come it was so good and it was so welcoming. We had an open, it wasn't very like roaring when I went in, but there was an open fire there with some wood on it. Just the smell of an open, there's just something. It's just, there is, isn't it? I mean, there's just something about the smell of a wood burning open fire, you know, and it's just like, it was just, the whole place was warm and welcoming. The staff were fantastic, you know, they really looked after you, they're chatty, they're friendly, happily go out their way, you know, to accommodate you, you know, and yeah, you know, and they even put up with me after a few beers and I'm still rambling away, you know. So yeah, I don't think I really talked about the Lion when I came back to the boat, and I don't actually know what I talked about when I came back to the boat. I do know that mid rambling, Jenny and Steve walked by, and she ended up winning the wine again. That was pure coincidence, by the way. It was just the way it happened, you know, and that's the competition rules, you know, just the first person. So, so yeah, they both won the wine again, and they invited me back out for another beer. So yeah, I ended up going back out and having well, a couple of beers, or maybe more than, I think it was a couple of beers, and yes, with it was Jenny, Steve, Maureen and Paul. So yes, I got all their names correct this time, you know, and you know, all of them, all four of them, just wonderful and chatty and charming and funny, and you know, we just shared such wonderful stories, you know. So yes, it was really good bumping into them again, and they have promised not to be around on the Norfolk Broads in August. They're going away to Mexico, so they're not around in August at all. So they definitely won't be winning the wine for that. So the wine's safe, so you got to get in there fast though, okay? But oh well, there's a brave soul. Oh my goodness. I'm just saying, Fair Countess is just leaving the moorings here, and I'm saying that's a brave soul, by the way, because this morning the weather is, well, I think I talked about the weather yesterday, and it is fulfilling its promise to the extreme. It is properly sort of gale force winds. It's wet. It's not blustery. It's full on wind. You know. It's cold. It's chilly. You know. I actually ended up getting woke up by an almighty thud at about 3 o'clock this morning, and I was like, "What the hell was that?" You know. And I was going to ignore it, but I thought, no. Something happened, you know, and at 3 o'clock in the morning on Thurne Dyke, it can't be sort of lads just walking about banging on the roofs, you know, to disturb you. No, something's definitely right. So, you know, here's me, you know, opens up the back door and I looks at it, and here what it was that my mud and boat hook it was just placed on the rails on the roof. And the wind was such that the mop got blown over and banged onto the roof, and the boat hook was gone. That was all offski, you know, and I was like, oh my god, you know, rescue the mop, you know. So here I am in all these gale force conditions, you know, trying to hang on to the handrails, you know, and just my socks, Didn't even put any shoes on, you know, pissing with rain, you know, grabbing the mop, and it was like, well, wait a minute, if the wind's blowing that way, you know, it's blowing me onto the bank, so the boat hook should have gone that way onto the bank and not into the river. And I got my wee torch out, and shit, sure enough, it was like on the bank, you know, by the fence. I went, rescue that boat hook now! You know, so once again, you know, don't even bother with putting my shoes on. I got off the boat, you know, in the wet grass and the mud and everything like that, and went and retrieved my boat hook, and then came back, and then it was like, you know, my poor wee toes freezing! You know, so I had to strip off my socks and dry my feet and everything like that. So, and by that time I was wide awake, so I had to have a cup of tea and a sort of, yeah, which reminds me, a cup of tea. So yeah, I was chilling down awfully fast in this wind, you know. I know that doesn't make sense, you know, but the wind's so strong, there's actually a wee bit of a draft coming in here. You know, so, yeah, anyway, what was I saying? So yes, I ended up being up for a couple of hours and then going back to bed for a couple of hours, so a little bit tired this morning, but doing okay. However, because of the weather, and it is wild, by the way. I mean, it's very, very wild. You know, I mean, I'll just spin you around and show you. I'm not going to take you outside because that's like, oh, no. So, yeah, I don't know if you can see that. You see that the boat there? I mean, on the river. You know, I mean, I'm actually moving about quite a bit. You know, even on my moorings here. You know, it really is very, very, very wild. Very wild indeed. And I can obviously see a couple of the hires are getting out. That was Fair Countess that passed by just moments ago. And that looks to be like Herbert Wood's boat is going out for a wee cruise. Well, good luck to them, you know. I know the weather is kind of going to be like this all day today, but you know, my problem isn't so much that should I go out or should I not. I mean, it's just wind, you know. I mean, and yeah, I mean, I could go for a wee push up to Potterheim or down to Achill. I actually wanted to go to Achill today, or Stokesby, that sort of area, you know. But my problem is that I'm just by myself, you know, and if you're trying to moor just by yourself, and I mean it's like 45 mile an hour winds, you know. I mean it's I'm not entirely sure if I would be able to pull the boat in, or if I would be able to moor on a side of the bank, you know, where the wind could push me in, you know. That's what I'm more concerned about, you know. I'm not concerned about going for a cruise in this wind, you know, because I would quite happily go for a cruise in this wind, you know. My problem that I'm having an issue with is, what do I do when I want to moor up? And if I'm just by myself, you know, yeah, it could be bad. It could be bad, you know. So I'm trying to be a little bit sort of sensible, if you like, you know, and sort of think about, you know, the safety aspect, you know, of, you know, being by myself in an adverse weather such as this. So I'm running the engine at the moment just to charge up my batteries, because to tell you the truth, I'm actually not expecting to go anywhere today. So this is like welcome to day 3, but the truth is that this might be day 3, You know, I might not really be going anywhere, and that Herbert Woods is looking to be having a bit of an issue leaving. Okay. Right. He's obviously he's obviously trying to leave, but the wind's pushing him too strongly onto the bank, and he can't. I might actually throw some shoes on him, go out and see what he's. Anyway, I'm rambling. Yes. This might be day 3. Just me talking. You know, occasionally. You know. What are you doing? What have you done? Nothing. Where are you going? Nowhere. So I don't know. I'm going to wrap it up there though, and I will. If anything else pops back, I'll maybe pop back later and see what happens. You know, hopefully the wind will die down later on about lunchtime. It would be nice, and then maybe I can go for a wee cruise. But right now, it's just not sort of going to be happening at all. So yeah, I'm just going to sort of stay here and chill for a bit. So until later, I'll speak to you soon. Okay, right, cheers for now, bye. Oh my goodness. Right, just a little wee update for you. I mentioned earlier, you know, that about the wind and the weather, and that as I was talking to you, there was a Herbert Woods, which I thought was quite brave, trying to leave the moorings, but he was obviously didn't know the wee trick about backing out. Well, after I put the camera down, it looked like they really were struggling. So I just threw some clothes on, and I went out, and I said, "You having a problem trying to leave your mooring?" He said, yeah. I said, "The wind's blowing you back on." "Yeah, the crosswind." Oh, excuse me. So I said, well, the trick is that you point your bow in and you get the back out, and once the back's out, you know, you back it all the way out, and once you're out, obviously it's not a very wide dike here, you know, so not a lot of room to manoeuvre, but he said, "Oh, thanks very much for that," and I said, "Right, okay, I'll stay here and I'll help you out." And I was like, bow over, you know, and he was doing it very successfully, you know, and he was getting the hang of it, and his back end was coming out, it was swinging out, and I was like, "Oh, that's brilliant," you know. And he pulled out into the river, tried to go forward again, opposite lock, but once again, you know, the minute he did that, you know, the wind just like picked up and blew him right back in, and of course he's trying to get out between a space of 2 boats, you know, another hire craft in front of him, and that wee sort of a wooden sailing boat that you probably saw when I spun you around in the first bit, you know. So he's trying to get out that, but every time he sort of goes forward, the wind just keeps blowing him back on. I mean, he's quite a tall boat, so the wind's constantly blowing him back on the bank, and even that trick, he just doesn't have the room to manoeuvre to fully all the way out into the mid-river, you know. So he's kind of sort of stuck. And I said, well, I said to him, I said, well, you know, I'm surprised you wanted to even leave in this weather, you know. I'm staying put, you know, I'm not going anywhere, you know. And he said, well, the boat's got to be back at Herbert Woods. And it's like, alright, so you had to return to the boat. Oh, well, okay then. Right, well, I've really no idea what you're going to do. I suggested maybe if you phoned Herbert Woods and said, look, you know, I'm at Thurne Dyke, you know, and I just can't sort of get the boat out, you know. Maybe they'd send somebody, a couple of crew members down to, you know, help you get the boat out. But yeah, he knows what to do, and he was successful in doing it. But the wind's just so strong, and he's obviously a bit of a tall boat, that is just he's just constantly getting pushed pinned against the bank, and the minute he tries to apply that forward thrust, it's just like, you know, the whole boat just disappears back in. So yeah, the wind is that strong, you know. It really is very, very strong crosswind, which is another reason that I was saying earlier about I don't really want to go anywhere today, because if I do go somewhere, you know, I mean, I'm seeing a couple of boats. I mean, there are boats out in the river, you know, but I can see them actually having issues and problems, you know. I mean, there's another sort of Herbert Woods boat. I think it's another Herbert Woods boat. I don't know what he's doing, but he's doing something in the river, and I think he's getting himself in a bit of a tangle as well. So yeah, I mean, I'm just by myself, you know, and thank God it's only a 30-foot boat this, so it's not going to be too heavy. But still, I mean, if I was trying to moor it up with the wind pushing me off the bank, you know, I'd never be able to do it. I'd never be able to hold the boat, you know. So yeah, I'm definitely thinking I'm just going to stay put where I am for the moment, and see if the wind dies down later. I've just thrown some clothes on, and I'm bloody soaked, but yeah, I've honestly I've no idea whatsoever what's going to happen today. So I think what I'll do is I'll go away for now at the moment, and I'll maybe get I'll go and have a shower, because I've been running the engine now for a wee bit, just to charge up the batteries, and I should have some nice hot water as well by now. So I'll go there now, charge up the have a shower, put some clothes on properly, and just see what happens with the day. Hopefully I'll get back out for, even if it's just a short journey, you know, but until I'm just having a wee look here. So yeah, until something else happens, I don't know. I'm talking a load of rubbish anyway. Right, okay, I'm gonna go. I will keep you updated as the day goes. Hopefully I'll get a chance to get out and do something on the rivers, even if it's for an hour or so, a change of scenery. If not, you'll just have to look at my ugly mug babbling all over the cap. So until later, I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now. Cheers. Okay, just a little wee update for you. Yes. Not much is happening today at all, is there? And though I know I've got my house coat still on, it's 12 o'clock, but I am actually dressed underneath it. It's just that, yeah, the sliding roof sections on either side of the boat, there's not much in the way of the draft excluders. In fact, there's no draft excluders at all on these sliding roof panels. And in this wind, I mean, it's got a powerful heater, but in this wind, which is still blowing a 45-mile-an-hour gale, if that's what you would call 45-mile-an-hour wind, it's really sort of causing a wee bit of a draft through the sort of openings, if you like, and as such, it's not cold, the boat, but there is a bit of a draft, and the house coat is really nice and warm and cosy. So yeah, that's the reason why I'm wearing the house coat on top of my clothes. Yeah, unfortunately I'm still here at Thurne Dyke though. I am seeing a few boats moving up and down the rivers, and some of the boats that were here in Thurne Dyke overnight have managed to leave. although every boat that has tried to leave Thurne Dyke has had a major issue trying to depart, because the wind is just like pinning you on the bank, and it is causing great difficulty in leaving. But some of the boats that have been here overnight have left. There's still another hider here though. I think they're going to be doing what I'm doing and just staying put, because yeah, it's not that I mean, I would probably go elsewhere if I had somebody with me, but I don't fancy going somewhere and trying to moor up, either the wind behind me or blowing me off the bank or whatever, and it's, you know, trying to deal with a runaway boat, you know, and drag it into and get tied off in this wind, because the wind is very, very strong indeed. In fact, hold on a wee second, I'm just going to spin you around. Right, yes, that's obviously the wee sort of sailboat that I showed you earlier. Okay, now you can see it's moving around a wee bit, but if we look at the top of the mast up there, I mean, look at that flag, you know, really bent over, very, very strong wind indeed, you know, and even Brinks Sonnet here, I mean, she's doing quite a wee bit of rocking back and forth against the key heading here. So yes, it really is strong wind. It's not supposed to die down today. I was kind of hoping it would ease off the wind, but every time I look at the weather, it's supposed to stay like this pretty much all day and well into the evening. So yeah, it's just one of those days, you know, you're just not really going to be going anywhere at all. Well, I don't feel confident enough, you know, and I would rather stay safe in this weather, with this wind, staying safe where I am, as opposed to untying and leaving this mooring, going out onto the open rivers and enjoying a short cruise, whether, you know, up to Porterheim or down to Acre or whatever, and then finding out that when I get there, you know, the wind's in the wrong direction, and I just cannot pull the boat in, and God forbid, you know, I even step off and the boat just down the river and leaves me on the bank. So yeah, I'm thinking, I'm definitely kind of thinking that today is going to be probably actually the first time that I've willingly stayed over 24 hours in a mooring, and just thought, you know, I'm just not going to go anywhere, I'm not going to do anything, I'm just going to stay put, stay safe, you know, keep warm, and just have a lazy day. The only other time this has happened was when I was suffering a slight bout of food poisoning on adventure number 2, and that just meant, you know, I just couldn't go anywhere because I was spending most of my time, you know, with my head down the toilet or curled up in a wee ball in bed feeling sorry for myself. But yes, today it is just purely, it's just going to be a day of chilling, relaxing, me and Tiberius here, you know. We're just enjoying some, oh, here comes the Brinks Quartet. A wee bit fast there, but yeah, anyway, yeah, so I'm just gonna chill, relax, not really going to be doing anything, so I apologise, there's no river footage or anything like that. It's just going to be the occasional wee sort of update on what's going to happen today, which is not really a lot. On the plus side, this does mean that I can nip back to the Lion later on, and I think I will actually do that. There was obviously some lovely beers in there last night. I had a thoroughly enjoyable few beers, especially with Jenny, Steve and Maureen and Paul, and it would be nice if I maybe went back there later today, have another lovely meal with them, well, not with them, they've moved on, but with the people in the line, and try some of their ciders, because some of their cider was really way too drinkable, so I think I might suffer a wee bit with a hangover tomorrow, but I think I'll probably go, maybe just go back to the line later on and see see what happens with that. So yeah, it's not much of an exciting day today. It's not much is going to be happening, so it's just oh, hold on a wee second.
It was morning a year ago.
Just been watching a little TV there. So yes, that's just basically the update, you know. I've had a shower and got some clothes on, but it's a bit of a shame that the wind is coming in so strong at such an angle that it's causing a wee bit of a draft over on the starboard side here, which is ironically where you're sitting. So I'm keeping nice and warm in my Jedi house, my Jedi house coat with a wee hood up if I need to. So yeah, that's basically what's been going on today, and yeah, as always though, I'll keep you updated. Oh bloody hell. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, there's a strong gust there. Yes, yeah, I'll keep you updated with what's going on, and where I end up, you know, down at the line again, you know, and maybe try something else from their menu and some of their other beers. And yeah, it's just a bit of a shame that the weather's turned, you know. I mean, it was so lovely only a week or two ago, and this weekend just turned into a bit of a wet and sort of windy bit of a washout, you know. But you know, that's what boating's all about, you know. It's the it's good old British summer weather, you know. As I think I said to somebody yesterday in the line, you know, the only difference between summer and winter in this country is that in the summer the rain is warmer, and yes it is. So yes, so we're just gonna chill, relax and have a quiet day, you know. So I apologise if this is going to be a bit of a boring day's vlog, you know. It probably won't be very long either, you know. But if the rain does die down a wee bit, I'm sure maybe I'll see if I can compensate and get a nice wee cruise tomorrow. I'm still hoping to get down into Southern Broads, even if it's just for a night or two. But to tell you the truth, the way things are going at the moment, it's looking like it's going to be a week spent up in the Northern Broads, just doing short little wee hops here and there, purely just because from a wind issue, you know. But we'll wait and see. You know. It's just one of those things, you know. So yes, anyway, that's the update so far. You know, I'm still at Thurne Dyke, you know. I'm still thinking about staying here, and I'll go and nip into the Lion later, maybe try a cider, have a nice wee meal again later on, and see where the rest of the evening takes us. So yes, until later though, until I've got something more to update you with, I'll keep you informed on just how lazy I'm being today. So until later, I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now. Cheers. Good evening, YouTube. Good evening, YouTube, from the Admiral and Tiberius. Hello, how are you doing? Yes, Tiberius. Yeah, I know. It's just one. Hello, how are you doing? Right, okay. Okay, I know today's vlog has been a bit boring, uneventful, not much happening, just a bit of babbling and what have you. But blame that on the weather. You know, it's been truly miserable all day today. It's cold, it's wet, it's windy, I just couldn't go anywhere. So what do when you can't go anywhere? You go back to the Lion Inn. I don't know if I talked about the Lion Inn last night when I came back, but I'm going to talk a wee bit tonight. Usually you can enjoy a place and once, you know, but you might get lucky with an establishment. It might be very, very good, but crap all the other time. Or it might be very crap all the time, but very, very good one time. Just that one time, that visit, you know. But it's not often that you go back twice, back to back, and still thoroughly enjoy it. I mean, seriously, you know. I went back to the Lion Inn tonight and oh man, I am stuffed, by the way. In fact, I'm bloody rat-assed again. And it's all because of one lady. You know, the manager, I think her name is Rachael, at the Lion Inn. You know, be careful of her, because not only will she feed you a full-on 3-course meal that you can't barely eat, she will feed you, she will show you drinks and delights and wonderful gorgeousness, gourmet, beautiful intoxication, you know, that you've never believed was possible. You know, I actually had to walk out there, you know, not because I couldn't drink anymore, but because I thought if I stayed there for very long, much longer, I will get absolutely rat-assed, you know, and suffer serious hangovers tomorrow morning. As it is, I'm needing a cup of coffee. I don't know if you can hear the kettle just boiling there in the background. You know, I'm needing to seriously sober up a bit, you know, maybe go back later for another delightful experimentation and to whatever she decides to throw at me. So yeah, yes. What I'm trying to say, okay, in a roundabout way, is that the Lion Inn at Thurne Dyke has become a serious contender for the must-have places to stop at when visiting the Norfolk Broads, especially if you're in the Northern Broads, you know. I mean, I would almost say forget Ramworth, you know. If you're in this area of the Broads, you know, Thurne Dyke, tons of space to moor, relatively quiet, at the time I'm visiting at least, you know, easier to moor, you know, and yet the Lion Inn is reasonably priced, you know. Great staff, great welcoming, fantastic food. I mean, really, I know it's a bit of a cliche, but actually, I mean, today I was wanting to try their pizzas today, because apparently they do stone-baked pizzas, and I've never really had a pizza on the Broads, so I was wanting to try stone-baked pizza, but I kept seeing this fish coming out, you know, and when it came time to order, it was like, I'm gonna have the fish, you know, because I had to try it. After last night's dinner, you know, I knew what the starter was going to be like. I knew the start of my starter, which was barbecued duck. Was it barbecued duck? You know, I knew that. I couldn't not have that again after, because I had the barbecue duck for a starter yesterday. I could not have that, not have that again tonight. It was just really so good and succulent and juicy and all. But when it came to ordering the starter, the main course, you know, I wanted the pizza. I really, really did. I wanted to come back and say, you know, pizza, you know, on the Broads. It doesn't sound right, but it's so good. You know, I wanted to have the pizza. I'd been thinking about the pizza since last night. I went there with full intentions of having the pizza, you know, but after last night's dinner and a couple of people that were having the lunch, I'd ordered you know, I'd seen the fish walk by, and even Rachael herself, you know, and this is the danger of her, so beware. Even Rachael herself pointed out that seriously, if I was going to have anything today, it had to be the, it was to be the farmhouse burger or the fish. That was her two recommendations for today. And oh, I've got a wee I don't know, can you see that? I've got a wee companion there watching me doing my little vlogs. But yes, her recommendation for tonight was that if you're going to have anything, you know, have what you want, but she highly recommended the farmhouse burger or the fish. Now I had the farmhouse burger up at Nettie's Head, I think it was it might have been last year, March last year, and seriously, when I was up at Nettie's Head, that farmhouse burger blew me away. It was amazing, but I didn't really want it because I had the burger a couple of nights ago. So I opted to go for the fish tonight, and honestly, you know, I know it's a bit of a cliche, you know, fish on the Broads with the chips, you know, but they were like proper chunky chips, you know, like slices of potato, you know, cooked, you know, and then you had this huge, I mean, it was huge, man. I mean, I don't know if I've got any sort of picture, but I took some pictures on the phone of the three courses that I ended up having. You know, the barbecue duck, I think it was, the fish, and then I had like a white chocolate cheesecake with Eton mess over it to finish. If I've got those photos, you know, you might have seen them by now, but if not, then, well, obviously, you know, I couldn't quite work them into the video, but honestly, the fish, the fish was really thick, huge bit of fish, but here's the thing, is that they use this gluten-free beer in the batter, and it gives this batter a very unique sort of texture, you know. It was like the fish was juicy and succulent, you know, and thick, but the batter was crispy but delicate. So it was like fish that was delicately crispy yet juicy and thick at the same time. It shouldn't work, but somehow they managed it, and it was beautiful, absolutely gorgeous, you know. I mean, I love my starter. The main course was, oh, you know, it was so bloody filling, you know. And then the dessert, the only reason I went for a dessert, to tell you the truth, is because I was getting so bloody rat-assed on the cider that I was trying tonight, you know, at the line. I really needed an extra little just to help soak it up, you know. And the cider themselves, what did I have? I had a sample of ciders, you know, like one of these sort of three glass things. One was the Whiskey Cask Cider, a sweet mango cider, and then a sweet apple cider, you know, and oh, the sweet apple was nice. The sweet mango was like, oh, it was so drinkable, by the way. It was like juice, drinking juice. But the highlight had to be the Whiskey Cask Cider. I mean, that was like, oh God almighty, that was amazing. But the only problem was that it was so bloody strong, you know. And I ended up having 2 pints of it after those like 3 glass shots. So I was like, oh man, you know. So yeah, the Whiskey Cask Cider at the Lion Inn is definitely the one to go for. And then the sweet mango. But that Whiskey Cask, man, it is strong for a cider. And I am fucking fleeing, by the way. So yeah, it was everything you might, I mean, if you are follow the Norfolk Broads Facebook groups, you know, whether it be Love the Norfolk Broads, Norfolk Broads Network, Norfolk Broads Boaters, you know, there's a whole plethora of I can't even talk. There's a whole group of them, you know. Those 3, the Norfolk Broads Network, Love the Norfolk Broads, Norfolk Broads Boaters. They are the 3 biggest, I think. And if you follow them, at the very least, you probably know that the Lion, as of 2018, April 2018, since it's reopened under ownership of the same people that have the White Horse Inn at Nettyshead, it has really become, it's done a complete turnaround. It has become seriously good. And I suspect, although Thurne Dyke hasn't been that busy at the moment, you know, once word really gets spread around, I wouldn't be surprised if Thurne Dyke itself, although large, becomes as difficult to moor at as Nettyshead is for the White Horse, because people are going to start, people are going to start coming here, you know, instead of going to, I mean, Ramworth is good, Rachael is good. I mean, these are the sort of places, you know, Ramworth, Rachael, Nettyshead, these are the 3 sort of Horning, you know, these are sort of places people always go to, you know, when they're out and about in the Broads. I can tell you this, okay, Thurne Dyke has firmly established itself as one of the must places to go, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's going to be one of the places to go to instead of one of the already established places. I know I'm going to be back here, you know, visiting the Lion. The welcoming, the staff, the friendliness, the atmosphere, the beers, the ciders, you know, I mean, Rachael was trying to get me in the gin, and it was like, oh God, no, I can't handle gin on top of, you know, so yeah. And apparently, okay, you might have heard of this by now, but apparently today, at this moment in time, as I record it, the Lion Inn is going to be starting a trial run this week, next weekend. Like, this is Monday, so it'll be this Friday coming, which is the 1st of May or something like that, I think it is, I'm not entirely sure. But at the start of May, this Friday, they're going to start doing breakfasts over the weekend. The Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I think maybe the Monday, I think Rachael said as well. They're going to start doing breakfasts. You know, that I think it was 9 till 12 they were going to start doing breakfasts, but I mean, obviously by the time these videos get posted, you know, people might already know about the breakfasts. But yeah, if the breakfasts are anything like the dinners, it's gonna be Thurne Dyke is gonna seriously become a good place to spend the weekend. You know, not only are you gonna get a great lunch, a fantastic dinner, great beer, great company, great atmosphere, but to help you deal with the hair of the dog the following morning, be that Saturday morning, Sunday morning, but whatever, you're also going to get the option of nipping down there and having what I can only assume would be a fantastic dinner. Excuse me. Fantastic breakfast, just to help you with the hair of the dog to recover on the Sunday or the following morning with the hangover, because they will definitely tempt you with plenty and give you said hangover the following morning. And I think this is why, I mean it truly is a wonderful, wonderful place. And I didn't really talk too much about, I don't think I talked at all about the Lion last night. I talked a wee bit about it this morning, but I've got to say, you know, 2 nights in a row, having a few drinks, good food, and it's not that expensive, you know. I mean, honestly, you know, I mean, I was there, I had a 3-course meal. I think it was the equivalent perhaps of about maybe 3 pints, plus on top of that I bought, because Rachael looked after me so well the last couple of nights, I bought her a drink, you know, for whenever she comes off duty or whatever like that. And on top of that, a tip for the staff, you know. I mean, for one person it was about £40 both last night and tonight, but, and which I know sounds a lot, it does sound a lot, but there was a lot in that, you know. There was a lot of drinking, there was a lot of eating, there was a lot of customer service behind that, you know. The tip as well, you know. £40 for one person per night, you know, sounds a lot, and it is a lot, but you got a lot of value for that £40. So to me it wasn't actually that much, because there was a lot included in that. It was a wonderful experience both nights. I tried to sample various bits and pieces and various different types of the menu and the drink and what have you, you know, because you know what it's like, you know. You can go to a place and you can just get lucky sometimes, you know. You just pick the perfect meal, the right drinks, you know, you get the right staff in the right mood, and everything's just perfect. That might be true for one night, give you a brilliant review of an establishment for one night. The trick is going back, trying different things, you know, going back the next night. Is it the same? Is this quality the same? Is the food the same? You know, is the drink and the atmosphere the same? You know, that's the thing, you know. I'm almost tempted to hang around this area a wee bit longer, but no. I'm not going anywhere tonight, you know. I'd already decided when I went out, you know, that Thurne Dyke, you know, the weather was just too extreme. You know, I've seen other people out and about in the Broads, and the wind has died down a wee bit. I'm just having a wee look at my little yacht in front of me. The wind has died down a wee bit, but it remains heavy rain, strong winds. It's dull, it's cold, you know. So yeah, I mean, really, although the wind's died down a wee bit, I think it would have been a wee bit foolhardy for me to have gone anywhere today, just by myself. I might have been lucky, I might have gone down to Gale and figured out the wind and managed to moor up and what have you, but to tell you the truth, no. I think I was being sensible, staying where I was for the night. No cruising today, just being safe, you know, because it really has been proper storm conditioned wind, you know, and I mean, it's just chucking it. It's been belting it down for the last like 5 hours or so, something like that, you know. So yeah, I'm better off just staying where I am and just chilling out. So yes, that was my impression of the line in at Thurne. Absolutely fantastic establishment. Staff are great, food's brilliant, beer way too drinkable, and everything that you may or may not have heard about the Thurne since it's reopened under the new ownership has been fantastic. and even well, little Tiberius, he's been getting in on the action as well with everybody at the line, and so yeah, he's definitely going to be my new first mate now, joining me on all my adventures and visiting all these places where I go, you know. So yeah, if you do follow me on YouTube now, yeah, always look out for little Tiberius here, because I think he'll definitely be visiting me, won't you? You'll be accompanying me on my various adventures and into various establishments and various yeah. So that's little Tiberius there, my new first mate. So if you do follow me on YouTube, it's not just me you want to say hello to. Maybe get a wee photo of Tiberius, you know, and get yourself I'll maybe build myself up a wee gallery on every adventure of everybody that meets me. Yeah, you say hi to me, get a wee photo of Tiberius, there you go, on YouTube with me. So I don't know, it's just and the thing was that when I saw him, I know everybody, I mean, I know people have their wee little mascots, you know, and little wee things, but I just saw him in that Ramblers, you know, at Thurne, you know. I don't know, he's a bit of a pirate. No, he's not really maybe the best the best advertisement for the Norfolk Broads, but I just saw him and he was just so, I just fell in love with him, you know. So yeah, Tiberius, my new first mate, he's going to join me on my adventures from now on, wherever they may take me. Okay, I think it's time for the Admirals walkthrough of Brinks Sonnet number 3 from Barnes Brinkcraft. She's a forward steer cruiser, which means you sit up front and you've obviously got a door in the front and the back, much like the forward steer cruisers that are hired last year from Richardson's. But like all of these boats, the design is very similar, but the interior and finishings and technology on board is different, and this little wee beauty here does have a few surprises about her. She's 30 foot long, she's about 12 foot wide, and just as I start the camera, a helicopter goes over. Enjoy some river footage for a moment. Okay, I might edit that out later. Yeah, as I was saying, she's 30 foot long, she's about 12 foot wide, she's only 6'7" air draft, you know, so she's actually quite low. It was a bit of a shame that I couldn't get under Roxham Bridge on this adventure. That was the original plan. I was going to go up to Coltis Hill because I've never been up there, but with all the wind and the rain earlier on in the week, I just wasn't getting under. The gauge always kept reading around about 6.3 or 6.4, and I might have been able to squeeze under. You know, boat yards and the bridge markers tend to be out just slightly, you know, to err on the side of caution. But I'm responsible for this boat. It's not my boat, so if the gauge said I can't go under, I'm not chancing it. I didn't go under, you know. But that's okay. We'll maybe try and get under some other time. What else is there about the outside? One thing that I do like, that I really actually liked about Brinks Sonnet, is that if you come up here, once again, she's needing a wee bit of a mop. I'll do that later. But one of the good things I liked about Brinks Sonnet is that down here you have your water point, obviously where you fill up on water. That's not unusual. Every boat has one. What is unusual is that you've got another one of those on the other side of the boat, about the same place. This means that no matter what side of the boat you moor on, if you side on moor, you've always got a water point right there at the quayside, you know, easy to fill up, and you're not needing to drag a hose to the other end of the boat. That's a lovely wee feature. That I've never seen that on another boat before, and I actually really like that. Makes filling up with your water less hassle. You know, you're not having to hang on to handrails and drag ropes around to the other side and sort of squat down, you know, riverside. You know, very lovely wee feature that. Very much approve. Once again, you've all got the trusty handrails, very handy to hang on to. They run all the way along, and you've got one at the front here just to help you on and off. Another wee feature, that's your diesel point there, is you've got these. You'll notice there's no mud weight here. What you've got is these. It is an electric mud weight, first time I've ever had one, and it's very easy to use. You just push that down. Or is it that one? It's probably neither of them because the engine isn't switched on. But yes, basically you push one, the mud weight goes down, and then in order to drag it up you just push the other button and up it comes, you know. Once again, very easy, you know, you're not struggling with a heavy weight, you know, especially if it's embedded in mud, and there's never been a problem. And yes, lovely wee thing. So electric mud weights, handy, very handy. Obviously that's just the other end. You can probably just, I don't know if you can just make out the other water point just at the back there. TV aerial, and obviously in we go to the boat. What I will say, your rond anchors are located in a wee cubby hole here. Just put that up, and that's your rond anchors in there. Sorry about any, if it's not really coming out, the sun's on the screen and it's making it difficult to see. You'll obviously notice little wee sort of LED lights here. That's controlled by that button there. That brings them on and off. You know, so your outside lighting at the front, switch there. And there's another one at the back, but I'll show you that once we go through, because once again, as always, we go front to back. Let me just put that on and move the curtain out of the way. Right, and this is the saloon. And I've got to say, for a small boat, she's actually quite surprisingly compact and managed to squeeze everything in. You know, when I first saw the photos of her, I was like very unsure. Not so much because the TV was there, which is your standard TV, DVD, but because of this. This looked very much out of place, sitting where it was. But that's actually a full-size fridge. A proper full-size fridge. Not your wee sort of mini fridges that you get on a lot of the boats. It might seem a bit odd sitting there by itself, you know, but it's very large. It's got all the wee bits and pieces, you know. There's not much in it, you know, obviously. And obviously just up here you've got a nice wee freezer compartment as well. It'll not hold a lot, but it'll hold something. So because it's a small boat and your kitchen is right there, you know, it's never a problem if you want to grab anything from the fridge. I should have mentioned actually that she is bow thruster assisted, and she is also a 240 volt inverter as well, which means that you can plug in all your various chargers with plug sockets and all that. And I'll say this about her, she's got tons of plug sockets, loads of plug sockets. We've got 2 in the corner here, we've got 2 in the corner here by the helm. Very handy, that, I really like that. And we've got 2 in the bedroom, but I'll show them when I go through. Obviously we'll start in this area here. Your trusty Pioneer radio with your auxiliary lead. To tell you the truth, I think this has seen better days. It's a wee bit sort of it works, but it just feels like it's needing replaced, you know. It feels like it's been pretty much abused over the years and needs either a new head unit or updated. There's nothing terribly wrong with it, but just trying to get it to do anything sometimes takes several pushes, and sometimes you're lucky if you can actually get the functions you might want. But it works perfectly. Once you get it working, it works perfectly, and it's been wonderful. The speakers, just to show you the speakers, got a speaker there and a speaker there, and they actually work very nice speakers indeed. You got the table that you can pull out, nice wee cubby hole. It keeps it well out of the way, so you're not banging into it. I've obviously got the bin there. Keeps that out of the way as well. Your 12 volt socket, and up here once again a demister heater for when you put the heating on. Blasts nice air up there and helps in to demist it, especially first thing in the morning. Light switches, that's your throttle. Up here on the helm, once again you'll excuse all my plethora of junk that I bring with me, but it gives you an idea. Now if I can just move this lovely lady out the way, that's just my phone holder for when I put my phone up for my app. What you've got here is they call it a fish finder. I don't know, I don't think it's really coming out very well on the screen because of the sun, but here you've got sort of depth, speed, you've got a wee signal here, you've got temperature. I'm not entirely sure what this is. I don't really know how to read this. If this is indeed a fish finder, it never seemed to find any fish unless I'm I don't know, reading it wrong. I've played around with it, but yeah, it's a quite a novelty wee thing, and if you knew what you were doing with something like this, it is good. I will say though that the speed on this doesn't match the speed on my GPS app. It seems to be just a little bit slower, maybe about half a mile an hour slower on this than it is on my app. And I know from the other GPS systems that I have used on boats that my app is very similar in calibration to those apps, so I think this is a bit slower. So if you're coming, if you hire Brinks Sonnet, don't rely on this speed per se, because if it's a 4 mile an hour speed limit and you're doing maybe 4.2, you're possibly doing 4.7, 4.8, near 5 miles an hour, so you'd possibly be going too fast. So yeah, just be careful of that, you know. It might be my app that's out, but Like I say, other GPS speedos that I've used on other boats have been very, very similar to the app, only about 0.1 mile of an hour difference. You know, this one seemed to have quite a discrepancy between the two, so I've never actually relied on that. I've stuck with my little app. What we've got here is we've got the trusty speedo. Obviously your temperature gauge. They say the normal working temperature is 80. This boat has run very, very cool. You know, it's just been just over 75. But once again, I've never really sort of pushed it too much. Down here you've got all your sort of warning lights. Lovely steering wheel, by the way. I love this steering wheel. It has been a joy to hold this steering wheel. You know, just that wood finish. You know, and it's not like a car steering wheel just bolted on. You know, and just a lovely wee emblem. This has really been a lovely steering wheel. I really like the steering wheel a lot. Obviously here we have your fuel gauge. Once again, it's nice to see that. A wee bit surprised when I was coming in yesterday. You know, I was down to almost half a tank, which surprised me actually a wee bit. I mean, I know especially in the first part of the week, the heater was running a lot because of it was quite cold. But yeah, considering I've not actually done much sort of proper cruising, I'm surprised I got down to near half a tank. But we'll see what that equates to when I go back to the boatyard. Bow thruster, lovely little control for the bow thruster, like that, left and right. Obviously your key, your horn and your wiper. One thing I will say, I don't know if it just needs time to warm up in the mornings, but I have noticed that you fire up the engine, you know, and the engine comes alive, and then it sort of takes a few seconds for the revs to build up to sort of idle revs. You know, the revs sit a bit low, and then it sort of warms up a bit, loosens up a bit, and then it picks up. But I have noticed that if you then leave your mooring and hit a bow thruster, the revs immediately die and the engine cuts out. So I don't know if it's something to do with the batteries, obviously, or the hydraulic pump, or needs warmed up, or you know, the engine just needs sort of, all the systems need warmed up before it really sort of works properly. But yes, that has caught me out once or twice. But once the engine's all warmed up and everything's running smoothly, then it's not a problem. You know, you've used it as to your heart's content, and there's never an issue. But I have noticed that first thing, if you start it cold and then try and leave, the engine has the revs have a habit of dropping, and the engine sort of dies out. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure what's going on. It's never been a problem, but it's definitely something to keep an eye out on. And be careful, always sort of fire up the engine maybe 5-10 minutes before you're due to leave, just to give everything time to all sort of warm up and what have you, and then you're okay to go. One niggle that I had about the helm position, okay, and it's the seat. Now, once again, excuse all the wee things. Now the seat. Now the back of it is very, very comfortable. It's very, very comfortable indeed. But in a way, I'm quite glad that I never actually ended up doing a lot of cruising on this holiday. Because this seat, it's obviously fixed as you'd expect, you know, but it's actually, it's a little bit too narrow. And as such, it gets a bit too uncomfortable when you're sort of spending any length of time on it. You know, you sit on it, but there's no support sort of for the backs of your legs. You basically, it's just your bum that rests on it. By the time you've sort of well, it is, it's just literally your bum that sits on that. And it's comfortable for a while, but yeah, after about an hour and a half, you start sort of fidgeting and shifting. And if I was to, like, maybe, well, you remember last year, I think I was 7 hours. I left Horning and I went down to Rockland St Mary's. Yeah, I wouldn't have been doing that sort of journey on that. I'd have been begging for time to have a break. So yeah, that's one. But I mean, it is just a niggle if all you're doing is just sort of short cruises here and there, or you've got somebody to take over while you stretch your legs. It's not too much an issue. The seat itself is very comfortable. You know, it's nothing to do so much with the cushions or the padding. It's just that this is just a little bit on the narrow side, and you might find that after an extended sit in it, you know, especially if you're a larger person like myself, it's, yeah, it gets a little bit uncomfortable after a while. So yeah. However, the saloon seats, very comfortable indeed. Very, very comfortable indeed. I do believe this pulls out for the obligatory secondary bed, if you like. But I wouldn't put 4 people on this boat. I think it might be a wee bit small for 4 people. Maybe a third person, a kid, okay. I haven't pulled it out, so I don't know. I've just left it where it is. But the seats themselves are very comfortable, and it's a lovely, comfortable place in which to watch the TV if you're doing that. Which brings me to the canopies. Now, the canopies. I have not had these open at all on this adventure. I might open them today, but they are very, very stiff with these sort of moorings, and getting these pins out is one thing, getting them back in is another. The canopy has to be lined up exactly, and you kind of have to force the pin back in order to lock it. It's not the easiest, and obviously, as you can see, there is no handrails to sort of grab, you know, like grab rails, so that to grab onto and yank the canopy back or forward. Another problem I have with the canopies, if I'm being honest, is I don't know if you can see that, there is no draft proofing at all anywhere on these canopies, and the gap is quite large, shall we say. Now, once again, during weather like this, not a problem. It really isn't a problem, you know. But weather like Monday, you know, trying to sit here, you know, on board the boat, you were getting quite a bit of a draft coming in from the high winds down these gaps here. It was slightly, well, I think I showed you, it was one reason why I ended up with my housecoat on top of my clothes on Monday, because it wasn't so much that it was cold on board the boat, it was just this bloody draft was going right down the back of my neck. So yeah, it's a bit of a shame that Barnes Brinkhouse didn't put any sort of draft proofing in. I know you can do that. I mean, you can see there, my hands sliding in very easily there. Swan Radiance had draft proofing. That was a very comfortable boat. I never felt anything whatsoever. So yeah, it's a bit of a shame that they never put any sort of draft proofing in there. But once again, on weather like this, beautiful weather, it really is not a problem at all. But one other thing, since I'm talking about the canopy, is another reason I never sort of opened this canopy is because when you're sitting here at the helm, the canopy is actually behind you. Okay, that gives you a wee bit of shelter from any sort of draft or breeze or side winds and everything like that. That's very good. But it also means that if you're trying to moor up, especially if you're just by yourself, there's not even an open window here. You know, that's solid. The open window is here, or the canopy, which is behind you. So you can't actually poke your head out the side of the boat to see what your back end is doing, or if you're trying to like stern on moor, you know, you kind of have to sort of take things very, very easy and wait for that sort of nudge that you're there, because like I say, you can't poke your head out there, you can't poke your head out there, you know, the canopy is behind you, you could open it, but it's because of this pin and no grab rail, it's a bit of an effort to get the thing open, and you know, it's not something you can do just quickly if you quickly need to pop your head out to see what's going on behind you. So yeah, that's not any of Brinks craft fault whatsoever, it's just the design of the boat, but it is worth mentioning that, especially if you're used to other forwards to your cruisers where you've got a window or a removable canopy right beside you, it's not, it's actually behind you. I mean, you'll not see any side-on footage at all on this adventure because there was just no way to mount a camera. Well, I could mount a camera, but there was no way to get access to it because, like I say, all the opening points was behind me. Just another wee thing to point out. But once again, I mean, these niggles are really quite small niggles, apart from the draft on a windy day. That was just a little bit annoying. But the seats themselves, very, very comfortable, very spacious. Considering it's a small boat, it's actually a very spacious area to live in, and it's been wonderful. And I would definitely recommend. It would be a fantastic couples boat. I don't know if you noticed as well. Okay, I'm not entirely sure what happened there. Did I run out of? Did I talk too much? Yes. A kettle. I don't know if you've noticed that we've actually got a kettle on board here, which, if you know your boats, is very, very unusual. Why is a kettle on board a boat? Usually, it's one of these gas kettles where you put on a gas ring and you heat it up like that, makes that whistling noise. Well, we've got a kettle because we don't actually have a gas ring. What we've got is these, you know. That's right, this boat is full electric. There is no gas at all, which is a bit of a novelty for me actually. I didn't realise when I first had it that there was no gas, but you've got a two-burner, well, a two-hob if you like, with the electrics. You just switch it on, power it up. Obviously these are, I think these are, what are these, conductive induction type plates, so they only work with certain sort of pots and pans, you know, but they're obviously provided. And for your cooker, you've got one of these fancy microwave cooker combo grill palaver thingamybobs, which I've not used. I will admit, I've not used that at all. Obviously, I'm too busy eating out in the interest for food reviews of the Broads. But yes, it looks very complicated. And I'm not entirely sure how good an oven that is, but you do get a lovely thick bundle of papers telling you exactly how it works, what to do, and everything like that. So if you're not sure how such a unit works, plenty to keep you, to let you know how to cook your food or your microwave stuff or whatever in that. It's a bit of an unusual arrangement, but because there's no gas, you don't need to worry about gas bottles, you don't need to worry about ventilation. So yeah, I think if I was actually to have used that, I would have probably got used to it very quickly, and I probably would have actually very much liked it. Also, because there's no gas, you also get a proper sort of toaster. the toaster is just a wee thing, you know. One thing to point out about the toaster is that it won't take a slice, a normal slice of bread that way, unless you buy a small slice of, like a small loaf of bread. So if you buy like, well, I buy Kingsmill, you know, and Kingsmill won't fit in that way, so I had to put it in lengthways, and then halfway through the cooking quickly lift it out and turn it around in order to cook my bread for my morning toast in the morning. But it's still nice to have a nice wee toaster and not worry about cooking things in gas and constantly turning it over and changing it, and because the gas isn't covering it. Obviously you got a nice wee space there. There's your cutlery drawer there. Obviously, once again, you got all your plates, your egg cups and everything in there, all your pots, pans, coffees, everything you could possibly need for a week on the Broads. All your pots are down there, bowls, and thank God, look at that, stemmed wine glasses. That is, I think I mentioned about Richardson's not having wine glasses, just glasses, and I was enjoying a bottle of wine one night, and it just didn't seem right. Ironically, I've got stemmed wine glasses on board, and I never had any wine this adventure. But yes, that is a very, very good thing to see. And obviously you got your mugs and your proper glasses at the back there. So very well kitted out, very, very nice. And because there was no gas or anything, everything's electric. No problems whatsoever. You've got a heating point down there, and I have to admit it takes a wee while just to sort of fire it up, you know, maybe about 5-10 minutes. Makes us a bit of a noise, but nothing too intrusive. But my God, that is warm. That is really, really warm. There was many a times I had to put the heating off, especially during the start of the week, because the place in here just got too stifling, too hot, and I just had to put it off, and that's when I started really feeling the draft. You've also got another couple of light switches here, which do the lights, the LEDs all along here. I will point out though that I don't know if you can see it, but I think Burns the Brinkcraft, from an aesthetic point of view, are needing to give this boat a slight refurbishment, as a lot of these sort of stainless steel or whatever fittings are actually starting to corrode. Pretty much all of them are actually starting to corrode. So it's just from a purely aesthetic point of view. There's nothing wrong with them. They work perfectly. They look wonderful, you know, and they provide a lot of light. But yeah, from an aesthetic point of view, they're all tending to corrode. So it might be about time for Brinks Sonnet to get a slight refurbishment. But that's the saloon, and like I say, everything I'm pointing out really is just a niggle, you know. There's nothing wrong with the boat. She's comfortable, she's wonderful, loving the fact that it's just all electric and no gas. And yes, it has been a joy to actually spend time with her. But let's go into the cabin and take a wee look in the cabin, which is obviously through here. Now it's a wee bit darker in here, so let me just I know, I should have done all this in advance, shouldn't I? Right, first thing you notice when you walk into the cabin is a lovely, lovely full length mirror, you know. Very, very nice, you know, just to sort of prune yourself in the morning. You've got the wee sort of lights, the curtains. You've got a wee wardrobe here. A hanging wardrobe, but it's not very deep, and you've got a couple of sort of drawers here, you know, which would probably get in the way. I think. You've also got obviously that's obviously your night curtains. Another wee sort of drawer. I've just shoved a lot of stuff in there at the moment just to keep it out of the way. You do get a couple of sort of coat hangers, but it's not a very big wardrobe at all. And you probably wouldn't get too much in there. But you do have the advantage though of quite a number of storage options in here, including another sort of cupboard with your brush and pan, and another bag, and another drawer there, and your wee sort of cubby holes there. And the curtains, once again, you've got ample lighting from the roof lights, which are controlled here. You've also got, you can also control your roof lights here with these two. This one is, I like this one. This one actually controls under bed lighting. That gives a lovely sort of soft type of night glow, if you like, at night. If you didn't want the harsh light from the exteriors. You've got another heating vent here, once again, and around here you also have not only another night light, but another sort of LED light. You've also got another twin plug socket. You know, tons of plug sockets on this boat. I like this boat for plug sockets. I like this boat indeed. loads of plugs. You've also got over there, you can probably just see in the bed, a couple of night reading lights which are adjustable to you know, wherever you want them. And this is the bed. It's angled out a wee bit and it tapers slightly, but it is very comfortable. And the pillows were thick yet soft, and yes, there was I had many a good, lovely, warm sleep in that bed. Really liked it. However, because you might notice the case there, not really any place to put your case if you bring a big case, so that's blocking another LED nightlight, by the way, down there. But yes, there is storage space on the boat, but being a small boat, it is a bit compact. It's maybe not the best, but there is room for everything. Just maybe unpack and leave your case on board in your car if you can, or like I say, do what I do and just leave it sitting over there. Excuse that, I'm just drying a towel and my house coat. These are lovely wee things, though. You get the wee coat hooks, put them up, you know, out of the way, or pull them down, and there you go. A nice wee sort of coat hanger for your coats. Well, I use that to help dry the towel, you know. And obviously another opening window for some ventilation should you require it. And down here, if we can see, is your electrical panel. Very comprehensive and detailed. What you've got here, one thing I might point out, is a water gauge and a toilet gauge, and that's really good, except they never seem to move unless, of course, I fire up the engine, and that's when you get the true reading of the gauges. And of course, because I'm driving the boat, I'm not actually seeing these gauges, so every time I come here, the water always says full and the waste tank always says empty. So I don't really know if they are working or if they're not. It would have been nice if those gauges were also up on the helm, but never mind. What you've also got here is, this kind of tells you all about your battery situation, your domestics, your heating, your engine battery and everything like that. And I will say, I'm not once again, I don't know all the details, all the technical sides of it. I'm just pointing these things out. But there must be a serious battery bank in it. I don't know if it's lithium ion, I don't know if it's just a lot of batteries, but the domestic batteries, it seems to take an age to use any sort of battery power whatsoever. You know, I mean, I moored up yesterday, you know, and this morning it's only at 94% battery. I ran the engine for 2 hours on Monday morning, just to charge up the batteries. To tell you the truth, I don't think I needed to do that, you know, because power on this boat has never ever been an issue, and I think you would find that you would quite happily have no problems at all in running your batteries, or using whatever for any length of time without running your engine. So yes, I do like the batteries system here. That's obviously your heater. It's adjustable, hot air, air conditioning, temperatures up and down. Once again, it's a wee bit odd to see you. It would be nice if that controller was in the saloon, but it's never really a problem at all just to come here and just flick the switch. All your wee bits and pieces, you know. And down here, I will point out, I don't know if you can see it, immersion. You've actually got an immersion heater. So you just flip that on, puts on the immersion for hot water. But to tell you the truth, once again, I have switched it on for the shower in the morning without running the engine, and you get a good shower out of it. You have to be quick with the shower because it does quickly sort of start getting cold, but there is definitely enough hot water using the immersion for a shower, you know. And yeah, it's good to see that you can actually have hot water without needing to run the engine. This is, the boat's got a couple of sort of niggles, if you like, and they are just niggles, but in the long run, some of the important stuff really makes up for any sort of minor niggles that you might have with other sort of aesthetic appearances, if you like. So yes, that's your control panel there. Obviously on the it's actually split into two, so we'll go to the left first. In here is your bathroom, your toilet I should say. It's, once again, it's all very functional. There's we all know how a toilet works. You've got a mirror there, you've got a couple lights there. What took me a wee while to figure out was how to switch those lights on, because usually there's a light switch out here, but these control the bedroom lights, and I felt a bit daft, but that's the light switch there. Took me a wee while to find that, you know, but I found it indeed, eventually. And obviously you've got little wee sort of cups, and it's squeeze in here. It's an electric flush, so you just push the button, it does its business, and excuse me, I'm needing a drink. You just push the button, it does its business, and there you go. You know, it's nice to see these wee electric things. What I will say about the toilet though is that being a 30-foot boat, it's right at the back, and it's sort of, I mean, you can sit on it, but a big arse like mine, it's a bit tight, you know. So you can do your business, but you you know, you feel like you're, in a way, you're kind of shoehorned in there. But you know, I mean, I suppose, you know, it's like with a lot of things boating, it's all about compromise, you know. And you've got a nice big bedroom, a nice big saloon, so you're only natural that in a small boat, a 30-footer, you're going to have a small bathroom or toilet. So yeah, and let's face it, you know, you're not exactly going to be spending a great deal of time in here at all. So that's really not an issue in any way whatsoever. I will also point out, just as a side note, just to let you know, that when you've been running the engine for a while, the engine is directly at the back here. This room gets very, very hot, you know. Probably one of the warmest rooms of the boat once the engine's been running. But yes, so that's the bathroom. And on this side is the shower room. Now, excuse the cable. You get a shore cable, obviously, that you can use, but there's not really anywhere sort of to put it. So I just keep it in the bathroom. It's out of the way, you know. You'll only really be using this once a day, and I just take it out, put it in the bedroom, do my shower, and then pop it back on the floor once it's all dried out a wee bit. Once again, it's quite tight and compact, and it's also not very, very sort of tall, you know. I mean, if you're a tall person, I'm 5'10", and I had to stoop a little in order to get in order to use the shower or pull the shower off. So yeah, it's pretty tight, pretty compact. You know, you've got a wee sort of ledge there for your bits and pieces, and obviously a wee seat there. Light switch once again there. You know, once again took me a wee while to find that. Over here you've got your sort of adjustable temperature thing, you know. What you do is you just flick that switch. You see that switch there? You flick that switch to switch the shower on. Adjust the temperature with that. This switch here is your water pump. And unlike other boats that have a water pump, you don't press and hold it. You just flick it in and it stays in and it pumps all the water out, and then you put it off and then it fills up again and put it back on, whatever. But yeah, it's much like the toilet. It's a bit compact, but it does the job, you know. And once again, you're really only in here for a quick shower, just to freshen up. So really, it's not too much of an issue at all. So yeah, that is that's the shower room. And then obviously at the back of the boat we just out the back, and there we go. We've got your engine is just under that cover there. It's nice that it's at the back, but it would be nice if it had a little bit more soundproofing. It did sort of resonate a wee bit through the boat. Not intrusively so, but there was definitely I could definitely hear it. You know, it wasn't as quiet as I thought it would be being here. Maybe it was more to do with the fact that it's a shorter boat than I've had before. Be surprised what 5 feet of boat can, the difference that can make. But yes, it's not a loud boat, but it would be nice if there'd just been a wee bit more sort of sound deadening in that compartment, just to make it a wee bit quieter. Once again, I don't know if you can see, you've also got over here more outside lights, and that's just by the button there, switches them on, so you can be always welcomed home after a night out. And that is it. That is Brinks Sonnet number 3, Admirals walkthrough. And yeah, I mean, she really is a lovely boat, you know. There is one or two niggles that I have with her, but I'm being a bit pedantic if I'm being truthful. They are just niggles. There's nothing wrong with her. She's a comfortable boat. She's looked after me very, very well. About the only issue I really did have with her at all is the draft around the canopy here on a windy day. Other than that, she's got tons of power, like electricity power. The bow thruster is very powerful, you know, so you can never have an issue with that. The bed, very, very comfortable. The heating, very, very warm, even on the colder days. So yes, she has been a wonderful, wonderful boat that has looked after me well over the course of the week's adventure. And in some ways I'm going to be sad to take her back tomorrow. It would have been nice if I had another opportunity to spend some more of this wonderful weather with her. But yeah, that concludes the Admirals walkthrough of Brinks Sonnet number 3. It is one of the elite class boats. She is very nice. Okay, I think I don't know what's going on here with my, seems to be cutting out every 25 minutes. So sorry, yes, I don't know at what point that cut out. I know it was during the me sort of wrapping up the Admirals walkthrough. But yes, let me just say again that Brinks Sonnet number 3, lovely boat, you know, very comfortable, very warm, very easy to moor up, you know, and I've never had any issues, major issues with her. Couple of niggles, you know, but every boat has them. It's all about compromise, but I just point them out just to let you know exactly what it is that you're getting with the boat, the good and the bad. And I've got to say, although I've pointed out a few niggles, there's nothing really wrong with her, nothing at all. And she has been a fantastic boat. About the only thing I would probably say to be aware of is a draft around the sliding canopies, you know, but a bit of draft protection, you know, and that would solve that issue, no problems whatsoever, you know. But on days like this, you'll never notice that, you never will. But yes, I'm going to wrap up the Admirals walkthrough of Brinks Sonnet number 3, and until later, I'll speak to you soon. So until I've got more to update you, bye for now. Cheers.